Hello and welcome everyone, Grim Gamer back with a new video today. Today we were going over Season 6 Marvel Rivals tier list with all the characters. We have begun to get such a massive roster, especially with 3 Deadpools, basically each being their own character. We're going to go through each one today, talk a little bit as to why I'm placing them where they're at, and then they may get adjusted throughout the video, but we're just going to go with it. As these things go, they're opinion based. They're what I see in the meta. They're what I see while I'm playing. They're what I see in the Marvel Rivals stats. If you don't agree, that's totally fine. Please comment down below what you think, and maybe we could see where there's some differences in the community out there. All right, so we're gonna go in alphabetical order, starting with Adam Warlock. Adam. Very interesting spot. Consistently has been a healer that really struggles. His mobility sucks, and his ult can suck depending on who's playing as him. You have to be highly skilled to manage his cooldowns and his ult and all these other things, his mobility. If you're not really good with the character, he's going to be somebody that is going to probably let your team down. Your whole team is going to always have to pick up the slack, and he could be dying left and right. Your team's also just not going to be getting the heals that they may need because he's just not nearly as strong as the other healers, and that is by far. Because of that, I gotta put Adam in probably C tier. He can have some strengths, even in triple support, but there are just every other character is capable of doing more than he can at this point in the game. BP. Black Panther has been on the struggle bus for a while now. He got a couple of buffs to help him out, but he's still not the greatest. Is he playable now? More so a little bit. But you have to have, again, that really high skill ceiling to be able to pull him off. He's not going to be great if you're like a first timer, someone who's just starting the game. He's probably not going to be an ideal choice. He just still struggles quite a bit. Yes, he can be good in the backline, but at this point there are other characters who can do much more than him. Because of that, probably, again, gonna go with C tier for BP. Black Widow. We all know there are some good Black Widow players out there, but they're few and far between. Black Widow continues to have the lowest win rate in all of Marvel Rivals. She has become the throw pick for people who are just pissed off at the game, like people picking their favorite character or their character getting banned, yada yada yada. So then they go Black Widow and basically throw the game. Very frustrating. Black Widow can have some strength if they know her well, but overall still just a very, very weak character. Hulk, Bruce Banner, whichever you want to call him. He's in an interesting spot. He got a couple of buffs to help him out. His leaping got better. His damage got better as well. He cannot be as canceled out as much anymore during his ult. They gave him a couple of buffs to help him out. Does that mean that he is fantastic by any means? It necessarily does not. I still feel like there are so many other tanks that can do far better than he can. Yes, he can do his little bubble to shield everybody, but at the same time, there are other tanks right now that are just doing really well against the meta, which the meta right now is definitely Poke. So you got Strange, you got Emma, you got Groot. Where Hulk fits in is just, it's mediocre. The other guys can do far better than him. Is he bad as he was? No. But he is definitely not as good as he was like in the beginning of the game, where he was super dominant, but he's just been power creeped into the ground. I'm not going to put him as low as Adam or BP or Widow, because I feel like he's stronger than that, but I think he's pretty safe in the B tier. Next we got Captain Survival, Captain America. boy, oh boy, this guy can piss you off so much on the other team, or he can be a feeder. It just depends on who's playing as him. That skill ceiling can be really high, and if it is, he's terrifying. He will destroy your backline and cause so much chaos if you're going against a good Captain America, but if you're going against a bad one, he'll just be annoying. He'll just stay alive and stay on the point constantly. It just depends on what you're going against. But that high skill ceiling Captain America, he can cause some chaos, and he can be very, very irritating for anybody, whether it's the strategist, DPS, even tanks. Because of how fast he is, it can be a struggle. I'm gonna say that Captain America is safe, probably in the A tier. I don't believe he's S tier because there's some tanks that have become really dominant, and some of them could go into S plus or S possibly. I don't think he's as good as that, but I think he's definitely safe in the A tier. That high skill ceiling is what's needed for him to be successful. Alrighty. Y'all are gonna hate me. Cloak and Dagger, the starter strategist for everybody. This character is complicated because, yes, they have some strength. Yes, they can pull off some good things. But when you look at other strategists in the game, where do they really line up? And that's where the problem is. Cloak has his little shroud thing where they can go invulnerable, which is helpful. It can make the whole team invulnerable from an ult. But what else do they really have? Their ultimate has become easy to deal with if the other team has a Magneto or any other characters that can just stop it. Punishers can stop it. Magneto can stop it. And I know there's a few others, they're just not on the tip of my tongue. But I don't feel like Cloak and Dagger is as good as they used to be. Yes, they're going to be good for those starter players who are needing an easier character to learn. They're solid for that with the auto aim. But I think power creep has just kind of gotten up to them, and we have Gambit and Invis, and those guys have really just kind of taken the stage. Because of that, I gotta say, they're not horrible. They're still playable, but they're gonna go safe in the B tier. Alrighty, next we got Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. The guy kind of fell off for a little bit, but I think he's kind of making his way back up, especially with the damage buff that he got. He is very viable in a lot of team situations. The meta right now is seeing a lot of poke, which his shield is really good with. And then he also has the amazing teleport that just makes him overall a very viable character. For a while there, that's all he was really good at, which kind of dropped him down lower. But with his damage increase, he's gotten a lot better once again. I feel like Doctor Strange is probably going to be safe in the S tier. Alrighty, we got to Deadpool. I have 3 different pictures for Deadpool. 2 of them are a little funky, but I have them because technically we got 3 different characters from Deadpool through the DPS Vanguard and the strategist role. So this first one is going to be the strategist role because he's flashing the little heart. Second one's going to be DPS because he's more in like an action format. And then third one's going to be Vanguard because he just looks a little bit beefier in that picture. So yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with strategist pool. I feel like strategist pool might end up being the weakest out of the 3. I don't think he's necessarily bad. It's also very early for me to really say because it just depends on if you know him or not, and a lot of the community is still probably learning him and his capabilities. But I know that he can get his ult very quickly by jumping on other characters' heads. I know that he can put out some decent healing, which is good. But overall, I think the other 2 Deadpools are quite a bit better. I kind of have mixed feelings on support pool, but I think he's going to be safe and probably A. If we need to adjust, we definitely can. All right, let's go ahead and get on to DPS pool. I love DPS pool. I think he's really fun to play. I don't notice too many differences between that one and the Vanguard version, other than like a couple of slight differences. I think DPS pool is pretty decent. The damage damage that he can put out is pretty insane at times. He has some really cool attacks. As he gets upgraded, he can become pretty powerful. I'm gonna say probably S tier for DPS pool. I think that's a pretty safe spot to put him. If I need to adjust it later on, I can. I feel like he's overall very well made, but again, it's a little early to kind of discuss it. We'll kind of see as time goes where he gets placed. Vanguard pool. This guy is insane. If you look at the win rates on Marvel Rivals website, he has the highest win rate out of all 3 Deadpools, and that could also be because of the play rate, but it depends. I think the Vanguard pool is way better than either of the other ones. His damage, his stability, the health he has overall just really gives him this fighting chance. The plushie shield is also really good. Again, it's pretty early to say where he should be placed. If you guys disagree, please let me know down below. I'm gonna put him above DPS pool in S. I don't think he deserves S+, but I think he's definitely above DPS pool. Alrighty, we got Groot. Groot is dominant, and maybe that's just me because I have a little bit of a bias to Groot because I love Groot. He is my second main after all, second Lord I ever got after Moon Knight. But Groot is just dominant, guys. His wall that makes him invulnerable, and then all of his walls that he can use. If you get a good Groot, like on the opposing team, good luck. He can steamroll anybody in that lobby. He is just so dominant, especially in the poke meta. And I feel like he's just gonna rain hell down onto everybody this season. He could very well be one of the best tanks in the game. I'm gonna put him, above Doctor Strange in the S tier. I think that he is very strong, and we're gonna see a lot of Groot this season. I think he's going to be one of the most dominant factors in our matches. Oh boy, Hawkeye. This guy sucks. Not in like he's horrible to play as, but he just sucks to go against. If you go against a good Hawkeye, he's server master. There's no point. He does his good like headshot damage and all that stuff, which is normal. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. If you have good aim, you should be able to be good with the character. My problem is his ult when he's just firing randomly, getting a team wipe with his ult every time, because you can. Dude's insane. He needs a little bit of a nerf, in my opinion. He's gonna continue to be dominant this season, as he has been in like the last 2 seasons. Definitely going in S tier, probably above DPS pool. Dude's insane. I hate going against him, especially when they're good. Alrighty, we got Hela. We all know Hela's really good. Hela's one of the best quick scan. Well, there's only a couple quick scan characters in the game, but holy shit, bro. She can one-shot sometimes. She can do a lot. Is Phoenix considered better? Which we'll get to in a bit. Yes, but Hela is still very dominant in any ranked or quick play, anything. Very dominant. If you go against a good Hela, good luck. She's kind of like a Hawkeye in that way of if you go against a good Hela, you are not going to be having fun on that other team. I'm going to put Hela up here, lower than Hawkeye, but she's still very dominant. Pillow Fist. All right. Iron Fist is in an interesting spot. He has been for a while now. Is he good? He's okay. Is he bad? No, not necessarily. But he is interesting. When you think about, like, if your team is getting destroyed, who are you going to pick? It's probably not going to be Iron Fist as someone who's going to save the team. I'd say Iron Fist could definitely use a little bit of a buff here or there. He doesn't do that much damage. I'm not necessarily saying that he needs it. It may just not be the best season for him with all the poke and all of the CC that's going around. But he's just in an interesting spot. Is he bad? No, not necessarily. Is he good? No, not necessarily. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I think he's okay, but he's not the best. Boy, I'm struggling to keep Cloak and Dagger there, honestly. They are not that good. I gotta make an adjustment. I'm gonna pull Cloak and Dagger down here, Adam Morlock down here. But then that feels wrong because then there's Widow. I'm gonna put Adam at the very bottom of C tier right now. So yeah, I think that's good. Maybe Cloak and Dagger. Very bottom of B tier. Very bottom of B tier. All right. Iron Man. Tony Stark. In this game, I think he's more of a Tony Stank right now. The guy can't do much. If there's pillars around, that's helpful to him, but it doesn't guarantee him much of a win. Yes, he can dish out damage, but with the poke meta between Hela, Hawkeye, even Punisher, Phoenix, Gambit even can take him down. Deadpool can take him down. It's just not his time right now. His ult can be canceled out by Magneto, who's a very prominent figure in the current meta. It's just not Iron Man's time. I think he's borderline getting to the unplayable point. C tier. I think he's probably about the same as BP. Jeff the Little Land Shark. S+ tier. Just kidding. S+ tier because we all love him. But he's not the greatest healer. Not the worst either. I would say between his ult is not the best. If you can get a Jeff that can actually eat the entire team, then he's really strong. If you get just your average Jeff, then that's not going to be as much of the case, right? So his healing can be okay. His damage output is not as good anymore. If he can heal the other team, as I said, he can be better, but it just kind of depends on who the player is. I believe that Jeff is not as good as Cloak and Dagger in a lot of ways, but I don't think he's nearly as bad as Adam. Adam's gonna be on the bottom of that C tier, almost going into D tier. I feel like Jeff could be at the top of C tier, kind of on the border of where Cloak and Dagger, and I can't do that. He is not a C tier to me, at least. I'm gonna put him below Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger are not horrible. Jeff's not horrible, but Cloak and Dagger have a little bit more of utility than Jeff does. Loki. This guy I've been seeing a lot more of. He can be scary, especially if you've got a Gambit on either side. He can be really scary. Getting 2 Gambit ults at the same time, terrifying. Just having that opportunity to be any other character in the game really just boosts Loki up. He's also gotten a couple of buffs to make him better than where he was. Loki is back in his rightful place, like where he was in the beginning of the game. I'm gonna say Loki is probably going to be up in S tier. I'd say around this area. Maybe a little higher. I'd say a little bit above that. I'll put him by Strange and Groot. He is very good. He's very good. Very strong. Luna. Interesting character. She has been dominant in Rivals since the start, but she has definitely seen kind of a fall off for a while now. Her only real utility she has is the freeze, where she can freeze someone else, but other than that, she doesn't really have that much to her. Her ult is good, 12 seconds of invulnerability, but it's not really a huge stark difference from anybody else in the game either. I think Luna's not necessarily bad, but I don't think she's necessarily great either. I'm gonna put Luna in probably A tier, above support pool. Magic. My god. So Magic can be really, really good or really, really bad. It just depends on the person playing her. If you go against a good Magic on the other team, good luck. GG's. It's the end for you right there. A good Magic on the other team will team wipe, will just cause your team to stagger so much. It's insane what a good Magic can do. However, it's that high skill ceiling. Not everyone's going to be great with Magic, and those who aren't great with Magic are going to end up feeding. So, with that, I'm going to probably put Magic in A. I feel like Magic is not horrible if you are like a newer player to her. She's one of the easier dives to learn in my opinion, but definitely still not the greatest. Compared to all the other main dives other than Daredevil, I think that she outclasses them by far. Alrighty, let's get on to Magneto. This guy is, as we all know, very good. He's always been very good. That's never changed. Magneto is going to be up here. I gotta say, he's always good. It doesn't really matter how good the other side is. If they have a relatively decent mag on their team, it helps out a lot. Between his bubbles, bubbling himself, bubbling a teammate, and then his really good ult, his shield, he's an all-around good tank. Is he as dominant as Groot or Strange right now? No, I do not believe so. I believe that those guys have a little bit more utility than Mag right now. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is like hard line. If they're more towards the left, they're better. What I am saying is I believe that there are some strengths to be noted if they're more on the left side. If they're on the far right side, then I think they are more towards like almost going down to that lower tier. Yeah, Mag's good. He's always been good. Nothing new. Is he the most dominant take in the game? No, I do not believe so, but he's definitely still very reliable and gets the job done. Mantis. Sleeper pick, in my opinion. Mantis can be really good if you know how to get shots. Really, that's all there is to it. If you can get crits all the time with Mantis, you're just going to be healing and damage buffing everybody. She can be really good, especially if you look at like the best Mantis players out there. She can be very dominant. She can absolutely make your team win. The problem with that is not everyone knows how to be Mantis, and because of that, she struggles quite a bit. Her cooldowns can be difficult to manage if you are new, if you don't understand her, or if you don't have the best of aim. She can definitely be harder to work with. Because of that, I gotta say I'm gonna put her in high B tier, I don't necessarily think that she's bad, but she's heavily reliant on how well do you play. Moon Knight, my favorite lord that I got, my first lord. I might be a little biased. Still gotta be real. Moon Knight's not applicable to every single situation in the game. Is he good? Absolutely. Absolutely. But he doesn't do the best against some comps, especially a dive comp. He can struggle. Daredevil annihilates him. Namor can annihilate him. Several of the tanks can annihilate him. His mobility can sometimes just be a little bit of a struggle. It just depends on the game. Moon Knight's still very, very reliable in high and low elo. I'm gonna put Moon Knight in probably B tier above Mantis. He can absolutely feed on anybody else that's in here. I don't necessarily think he's A though. A can probably feed on him. Namor, speaking of, hate this guy. His team up with Hela was so annoying. I'm glad that it kind of got nerfed. He's an interesting character. I've never really seen the strength that he has. I don't think he really is that strong anymore. I think he's an interesting pick. I don't know. I've never really gotten Namor. I think he's okay. He's not the greatest. He's not the worst. I see him sometimes in matches, not all the time. When I do, he usually just gets wiped. I would never really see that great of Namors, and if they are really good, I don't know. He doesn't seem to really carry the team that much. I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's better than Iron Fist, better than Hulk. I am going to keep him right here. Right there. Okay. I did a little bit of moving them around so that it's a little bit easier for me to kind of tell where they're better, like by class. So I did Vanguards in the beginning, and then I did DPS and then Strategist. So for each line, it starts with the Vanguards and then goes in that order. I feel like it'll be helpful for me to kind of see the comparisons between them a little bit better, and will also allow you guys to kind of see where I'm coming from a little bit more. So S tier, I still think Groot's the best tank between those four, and then Hawkeye's better than Hela and Deadpool DPS, and then Loki is the only strategist in it so far. For A tier, we got Cap as the only tank in it, and then we got Magic as the only DPS, and we got Support Pool and Luna. So I think you guys can kind of see what I'm going at now. Anyways, let's go ahead and go with the next tank. We got Penny Parker. I think she's fallen off. She's finally fallen off, guys. Penny was so dominant for a while there, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Penny has gotten destroyed, and the meta has just kind of caught up to her. Groot can destroy her mines and her little things so easily with no time in between. Everyone can just kind of take her out. Everyone's kind of learned, go for the penny. Go for the penny mines. I'm going to put her down below C tier. I think Hulk's even better than Penny now. Penny is just not that good. Not good at all. Yes, she'll kind of get some use in the lower rank, but other than that, she gets destroyed. Alrighty, we got Thor, God of Thunder. Thor has gotten that buff where he can like turn while doing his charge, or not charge attack, his swing attack, whatever it is. I don't play Thor. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It really did change him. I know a lot of people have been praising that buff. I'm gonna put him up here next to Cap. Him and Cap on a team can absolutely dismantle another team. It is terrifying what those two can accomplish together. Him and Hulk, same thing. If you have him with like a Strange or a Groot, that can also dismantle a team as well. Overall, he's gotten a lot better. I feel like Thor has come out of his shell a little bit more than where he was. We'll kind of see. I think he's got a brighter future ahead, at least for this season. Venom. I think he's fallen off quite a bit. I just don't really see Venom anymore. He gets just destroyed by so many characters when he's trying to dive in. He's just not that strong, I gotta say. He got that anti-heal buff a while back, and he was really dominant for a while. But ever since then, since power creep has kind of happened, I feel like he's just not that good. Gambit obviously helps too. A lot of factors at play. I don't think he's that great anymore. I think he's better than Penny, but I think he's in C tier for season 6. Rogue. Complicated. If she's going against a dive team, she can be really good. If she's going against a poke team, which is the meta right now, she can be eaten alive on the front line. She is definitely not a character that you can go solo tanking with. I would say Rogue is probably low A tier for the tanks. She's definitely not that amazing in my opinion. I've never really gone against an amazing rogue. I've gone against irritating rogues, but I've never really seen her carry a team like other tanks have the capabilities of doing. I have mixed feelings when it comes to Rogue. I just don't think she's that great. She's interesting. I actually think I might put her down here with Hulk. Yeah, that feels a little bit more right. She's better than Hulk, but I don't think she's viable in every setting. I think she's an interesting pick. It just heavily depends on the other team whether or not she really is going to get that play value or not. Thing. Thing is interesting. Thing can be pretty good. He's gotten a lot better from where he was. Is he perfect? No. I think he is kind of in the same spot as Cap and Thor are. I think he's better than Thor. He does get eaten alive, but in certain team comps, he can flourish, especially if against the dive comp. BP gets eaten alive by him. Iron Fist can get eaten alive by him. Magic can get eaten alive by him. He's all around pretty good. Angela also struggles against him at times. If you're getting destroyed by a dive comp, Things are a really good option to go to. I'd say he definitely belongs in A tier. He's not going to be one that you want to go to every match. If you try to force that, it's not going to go well for you. But he's still really good. Really good. Emma. Emma's really good. She has been for a while. She's been since she got released. That has not changed once at all. Has she maintained that really strong point? I do not believe so. I think she's still really good, and she definitely has some strength to her. I just don't feel like she has as strong of a presence as she used to. I feel like she's still really strong, obviously. Everyone can agree to that. But her presence has gotten a little bit lower and since she's been released. I'm going to put her in the top of A tier for tanks. I think she's definitely better than Cap, Thing, and Thor. But I don't know if she's necessarily as dominant as Mag, Strange, and Groot right now. Or Tank Pool. I think those guys definitely can outshadow her. I'm actually going to put Tank Pool above Mag. I think that Mag's still really good, but Tank Pool is kind of showing him up. Alrighty. We got Angela, and boy, Angela can be brutal. I gotta say, Angela can either be really good or really bad. And I swear, every time that I go against an Angela, they're really good. Every time that I have an Angela on my team, they're really not good. So I feel like she's heavily dependent on the player. But with the little buff she's gotten, and then the little nerf that she got recently, she did really well last season, obviously, but with the buff, or not the buff, the nerf, I feel like she went down a little bit. She is just the queen of displacement, chaos. She doesn't really necessarily always get kills unless the map allows for it, but that displacement, especially if you can get their strategists away, can be really, really good and helpful. I'm gonna put Angela probably an A. Maybe, yeah, before Cap, Thing, and Thor. She's really good. If someone knows how to play her, good luck. Your game is gonna be very, very difficult. How do I feel on this? Yeah, I think that's overall pretty good for tanks. That was the last tank. I reordered the bottom as well, so that we're gonna go kind of by the different roles as well. Alrighty, next we got Psylocke. Is Psylocke really good anymore? Do we know if she's really that good? She was dominant for a while. Her ultimate was way too easy to get. Well, maybe not too easy, but very dominant, very easy for her to just get a lot of kills with. And she got it all the time. She would just kind of go for that frontline tank, kill them repeatedly, and get that ult really quick. However, with the nerf and her ult being way more points to get, that doesn't happen as much anymore, so she's no longer as great as she was. Other than that, she doesn't really have that much strength. Yes, she can do damage, but her ult is really what carried her. Is she still good? Absolutely. But she lost a lot of that momentum that she had when her ult was easier to get. I'm gonna put Sty probably up here, but below Magic. I think Magic is definitely the better dive. I guess Psylocke's not necessarily dive. She can be kind of used as dive, but I don't think she really is that great compared to Magic anymore. She's definitely better than Iron Fist, I'll tell you that. Punisher. Interesting character. I don't really know how good he is anymore. His turret can be good in certain situations, but it doesn't really guarantee much, especially if the other team knows to focus you during that time. And because of that, I just don't know. He has a shotgun, which can be good, but yeah, overall, I don't feel like he's as good as he has been in the past. I think he's kind of struggling right now. I gotta say, probably, I don't think he's as bad as Iron Man. Maybe B tier above Iron Fist and Namor. And then I don't think Moon Knight's that bad either. I think he's better than Punisher. He has more utility. I'm gonna put him up here next to Psylocke. I think that's a little bit better. All right, the Spooder Man. Very interesting character. Is he playable now? He can be, but it just depends. He's not really always the best tool. He is very map dependent. I gotta say, very map dependent. If he can get on a map where he can pull people off, that's really good. That can be really good for him. It can be really good for the team overall, but it just depends on the map. When that's the only big utility you really have, it's hard to really say how good you are. I'm gonna say Spider-Man. I'll put him with Iron Fist. He can be usable, but is he always? No. Squirrel. Squirrel Girl is very interesting. I don't love Squirrel Girl. I feel like she was a lot more dominant a while ago. Not necessarily that she was great, but I don't think she's really that good anymore. She used to be a lot better. I feel like power creep is kind of caught up with her. She also is considered kind of that no skill hero that people can kind of play and hope that they just get kills, but doesn't necessarily always work out. She has some utility, but overall her kit just doesn't do amazing anymore. I'm gonna put her in C tier above Iron Man. I don't think she's anywhere near as good as these guys up here. Spider-Man can knock her out. Iron Fist can do the same. Namor, Punisher. I think they're all better than her. Squirrel Girl has just kind of fallen off. She's good against tanks, but that's really just about it. We got Star-Lord. Star-Lord's really good. He's been really good for a while now. He definitely, I'd say, is one of the stronger DPS in the game. It also depends on who's playing him, but it's scary when you hear that whole legendary firing off. Everyone's going to be running for the hills, right? Sometimes that can be absolutely terrifying. And because of that, I think that he could definitely go into A tier. He can be terrifying. He's going to be on the upper echelon of A tier for DPS, because I don't think he's... I think Moon Knight's definitely lower than him. And I think he's better than Magic and Psylocke as well. Definitely A tier, top of A tier for me right now. Hold on, my computer. Alrighty. Next, we got Storm. And I think Storm is sometimes a sleeper pick. Storm can be very dominant. Very, very dominant. She is just... No one really plays her. I never see a Storm, but when I do, the other team can be pretty scary. Not gonna lie. I think Storm is kind of where she has been in the past, where she's really good, but just no one is focusing on her at all. She has a lot of strengths, and she's definitely better than most of the flyers, if not all the flyers in the game, in my opinion. I think Storm has a worthy place in A tier. Probably... Yeah, I'd say probably between Magic and Psylocke. I think Storm is pretty good. She's gonna be like in that middle of A tier. And then we got Wanda, Scarlet Witch. Y'all are gonna hate me on this, but I just don't see her that good anymore. She is better than Widow, but other than that, she's not that good. She had her little buff for a little bit there, and other than that, really nothing going for her. She's good for the new players who are just trying out characters, trying to learn the game. But after that, she just really falls off. Her ult is easy to tell. It's easy to kill. She doesn't really have strength in any way, shape, or form. D tier. One of the few D tiers. Alright, we got Bucky, the Winter Soldier, the Nightmare for some people. I think we all know, he's really strong. I don't really have to explain myself there. He's probably going to be on the upper echelon of A tier, above Star-Lord. I think Winter Soldier can be... no, I gotta put Winter Soldier up here. I think he is better than DPS Pool 2. He's gonna be right in after Hela. Dude is unstoppable. If he gets his ult several times, he's unstoppable. You can't kill him. He wrecks your entire team. He can be really scary. Really, really scary. I have played him a couple times. I'm really not much of a Winter Soldier main, but I've played him a couple times, and when I do play him, I destroy. And it's not that hard to do. The character overall is well made, can be used for anything, whether it's dive, poke, whatever. Just an overall very strong character, has always been, continues to be one of those top picks. Wolverine. We all know Wolverine is absolutely terrifying right now. Wolverine can just destroy the other team. He is the tank eater. He will throw them off the map. He will eat them alive. The guy is powerful. I think that he is probably better than A tier right now. I'd say he's even up in S tier. I think I think that fits him. He is probably better than DPS pool. DPS pool's decent, but damn, you go against a good Wolverine and it is just terrifying. Every 5 seconds, you're getting mauled. It's a fun little playing field if you have a good Wolverine on the other team. Alrighty, we got Mr. Fantastic. He's an interesting character because on PC he's referred to as not that good, but on console he can be someone to fear. The problem with Mr. Fantastic is not necessarily what he's on, but like, it's hard to explain. He more so is just kind of a stay alive character than he is anything else. He'll just keep going into his other form, whatever, his little thing, and he can be really unstoppable, but he doesn't do a lot of damage. He just kind of protects your team. He doesn't really open up the floor for your team. He doesn't make any like crazy moves. I've seen a couple of really good Fantastics. My best friend is actually one of the best Fantastics that I've ever seen. But yeah, they're very few and far between. He can be really good. Often I don't feel like he is that good. I'm gonna say he's probably better than Squirrel, Iron Man, and BP. I think he's probably going to be between Namor and Iron Fist right here. Not the greatest, not the worst. Can do better, can do worse, I guess. Human Torch. He got technically a buff. He's still not the greatest. The current meta does not favor flyers. With it being so much heavy poke, for the most part, he gets eaten alive along with even Storm, especially Iron Man. He's just not that good right now. If the meta were to move away from poke, he could be a lot better. But until then, I think he is probably going to be down here in C tier. Probably below Iron Man. Next, we got Phoenix. I mentioned her earlier. She's really good. She's considered better than Hela, I think, right now. Both of them being absolutely exceptional. Both of them having a lot of utility, a lot of reasons to choose them. Being probably some of the best poke characters in the game right now. We got... yeah, just really strong abilities with Phoenix. She eats Rocket alive because of her ult. And her ult can eat Penny alive. Not like Penny is really that good right now. But she just has a lot of utility under her belt. She's slightly better against dive than Hela is because of her little dash attack. So yeah, she definitely deserves S tier. Hela following her right behind her. Blade. Interesting. I don't think Blade is as bad as people say. I think Blade has a lot of strength to him and he can be used in a good way. It just depends on how you use him, who's playing him, and if they really know the character and how to use him. I really like Blade. I think he's really fun. I think he's really good. His shotgun is obviously the best part of his kit, but his sword has also become quite good, especially in certain scenarios. His ult can be very useful in choke points. I don't think he's overall as bad as people say. I think I'm going to put Blade in A tier above Magic. I think he's definitely better than the rest of the ones on this tier. And I definitely don't think he's as bad as people say. All right, we got Daredevil. The guy is a monster. Guy is honestly terrifying at times. He just runs lobbies. Is he as scary as he was a while ago, like last season? I don't necessarily believe so, but he is still very strong. Definitely not a character to mess with. I think he could definitely easily go in A tier. I don't think he's S tier anymore, but he's definitely better than Blade. Star-Lord, I think so too. I think he's gonna go right in between Star-Lord and then DPS pool up there. We got Rocket Raccoon. And Rocket got nerfed in his like speed. So he no longer can be as fast when he's running away. He's no longer the unkillable little rat that pisses me off all the time. He's still decent, not the greatest at all. He's interesting. I just don't think he's that good anymore. I know he's not terrible, but he's an interesting character. I feel like he's a lot easier to kill now, especially with his speed going down. And then Phoenix always being played is going to destroy him and his res beacons and all that stuff. I just don't think he's that good this season. I'm going to put him... Oof. Probably after that. After Jeff. Mantis... This just feels weird to me. Maybe put Mantis up here. Because a good Mantis can rule a lobby. I think that's pretty good right there. And then we got Invis. Do I have to really say anything? Invis is still very dominant. Her shield little nerf is something to take into account. Did it really affect her? Not too much. She's still incredibly dominant. Still incredibly good. She's just slightly easier to kill. And that's about all there is to it. She is still just a really solid strategist to play as. She's better than Loki. Loki still being a very good prominent figure as well. Yeah. Invis still really good. Gambit, we all know. He's up there. Permanent ban in any sort of rank play. The dude's unstoppable. Dude is incredible. So strong. You can't stop him. If you go against a good Gambit, good luck. And it also is complicated because if your team is doing a ton of damage, all you're doing is feeding their Gambit if they have a Gambit, and then they're gonna get their Gambit's gonna get their ult, and then they're gonna steamroll you. Gambit is just a tool, and when that tool is used effectively, dear God, terrifying. Good luck. Yeah, you're done. Ultron. Ultron is interesting. Is he good? Yes. He got his buff, which made him better. And he is better. He's not horrible. I just don't think the meta favors him right now. Poke meta destroys all of the flyers, and he's unfortunately a flyer. I don't think he's as bad as Iron Man or Human Torch. I think they're definitely on the weaker side. I don't think he's as good as Storm, though. Ultron definitely can put out some good healing, but I don't... Yeah, I think he's going to sit safely between Jeff and Cloak and Dagger. He has his moments, but he's not always the best. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go over this list, make sure it looks good. I think I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's very true. If you guys think differently, let me know down in the comments. Again, this Deadpool up here is Vanguard Deadpool. This is DPS pool. This is Strat pool or Strata pool, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and we shall just see how this season goes. I'll see y'all later.